and gentlemen, January 31st, Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. Robbery awaits. Is the fix in? Well, that's what Floyd Schofield, Kid Austin's dad, Floyd Schofield Sr, in his recent interview was indicating that Teofimo Lopez is going to need a knockout because the high-invested fighters for the Saudi Arabians is Shakur Stevenson. Check what he had to say.
New York had the power to buy the streets of New York and throw a boxing fight in the middle of downtown New York. Who got that much power? It's in Saudi Arabia. You could call it Madison Square Garden all you want. That means the judges is paid for on Saudi money, most likely, the commission money, whoever funded this whole goddamn thing. T.O. need a knockout. T.O.'s not out boxing him, not even on the cards, because they're not going to let their big investment lose.
Whew. Do you believe it? Do you believe in this conspiracy theory? Now, I'm going to say this. As we all know, y'all already know, y'all tuning into Punch Drunk Boxing, a.k.a. Mr. Moo Shine himself. I got Teofimo Lopez beating Shakur Stevenson respectfully. Yeah. I believe the takeover is going to show why he is the takeover 2.0. Why he's the captain of the generation, the commander-in-chief, two-time lineal champion. Shout out to Shakur Stevenson, then 3-division world champion, but I believe that Teofimo Lopez is that guy. But we all understand in the sport of boxing, fans was a little bit frustrated. I could see it from both sides. I could see it. If I want to believe in the conspiracy theory, and I could believe in the historic, you know what I'm saying, boxing, the politics, the corruption, and all that, right? And we cannot neglect that things like this does not happen. We cannot neglect that judges can be bought. We cannot neglect, you know what I'm saying? We see that, hey, look at Nakatani, the last fight. Hey, look at Canelo Alvarez and Triple G, the 118-110 card, right? We seen robberies in the sport of boxing, right? I think there's going to be people out there that's going to believe it, and there's going to be people out there that's not going to believe it, right? Because let's be honest. Remember the Carlos Adames versus Shiraz controversial draw in which Turki Alalshikh was in the corner and basically was telling Shiraz, you got 2 rounds to knock him out. You're losing, all right? Come on, my ambassador to Saudi Arabia. Come on. And then it was a controversial draw. We never got that fight again. We all know that Carlos Adames, el Dominicano, el Platanero, el Manguco, el Tres Golpe, beat Shiraz. But we also understood that there was fighters in which Turki Alalshikh goes for and they still lose. Let's not forget that he was going for Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk beat him, not once but twice. Let's also not forget that Turki Alalshikh wanted to see Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, and he had Deontay Wilder versus Parker, AJ fighting Ottawa Lean, and Deontay Wilder lost, so we didn't get that fight. I think it was supposed to be on March 2024. So even when Turki Alalshikh wants this fighter to win, a particular fighter wanting to win, he still loses, and there is no controversy, there is no robberies and things of that nature. So, but put it this way, look at Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis going to be in the card. Bud Crawford, we know that Bud Crawford is Turki Alalshikh's boy. Does it look like they forming the new NWO? You see it, right? I feel that's what it is, maybe. We see Bud Crawford very close with Turki Alalshikh. We see Ish Henson, the mastermind of managing Bud Crawford, and now he's not he's, you know what I'm saying? I believe an advisor or doing the negotiations for Turki Alalshikh and these fighters and stuff like that. And then we got to see Keyshawn Davis get in the card, Shakur Stevenson. We see that little group. Reminds me of the NWO. Yeah. Bud Crawford is Hulk Hogan. You know what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson is Kevin Nash. And Keyshawn Davis is Scott Hall. And Turki Alalshikh could be Eric Bischoff. Is that what's going on around here? Is Bud Crawford formed the new NWO in the sport of boxing? I know y'all already know that Nick Khan and TKO and everybody is all, you know, we know that the WWE, boxing, UFC is all the same group right now. So there is some entertainment influences. Is it that? I could see it from both sides. I could see people saying, nah, man, Turki Alalshikh is legit. You know what I'm saying? He's just for the greater boxing. I want to see some great fights. I want to put on some great shows and let the fighters decide that on themselves. And then there's other situations where, like what we saw, where it was like kind of, you know what I'm saying, tamper with the a decision in which people in conspiracy theory and stuff like that. Now we all understand also that Floyd Schofield, Kid Austin, and Senior, you know what I'm saying, they had a lot of allegations towards Shakur Stevenson leading up to their potential fight out there in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I remember the passport got ripped. They broke into their house. They pinched the wheels of like 5 rented cars and went through the Airbnb, and the masseuse, that massage Kid Austin was sent by Shakur Stevenson, and then they pulled out of the fight, all that stuff, right? That they poisoned them or whatever, right? And they had to, you know what I'm saying, leave Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. A lot of people was frustrated with that event, but Floyd Schofield Sr. is still is keeping his allegation consistent and stuff like that. Even though nobody was sued, nobody was charged, nobody was anyway. It is what it is. I mean, whether people want to believe it or not, people thought it was crazy. Some people was like, "Hey, maybe we don't know." Anyway, now. We also saw that it seemed like the New York State Athletic Commission could be bought. I'm not gonna, it can be compromised, right? We saw the Lamont Roach versus Gervonta Tank Davis. We saw that Lamont Roach dropped Gervonta Tank Davis. We saw that Gervonta Tank Davis turned around, should have been disqualified. We saw that the referee, Steve Willis, was counting. We saw Gervonta Tank Davis go to the corner and because his eyes was burning, my eyes, Calvin Ford, someone help me, hey, Coach Elliott. And he went to the corner, and Calvin Ford wiped the eyes in between rounds, in which it should have been a automatic disqualification. The New York State Athletic Commission reviewed that fight, reviewed that event, and still declared a draw. Why? Gervonta Tank Davis brings a lot of money to that company. So that was controversial. So right there we saw the inconsistency. The inconsistency seems like, you know, with the right type of money, people could be bought. So I'm not going to take the allegations or you know what could transpire. Come on, this is the sport of boxing. When we thinking about a fight, we'd be like, this guy's gonna lose, this guy's gonna win, or this guy's gonna get robbed. As a matter of fact, if robbery was in the betting lines, people will bet robbery. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, people will bet robbery. Like, okay, the under, the over, and stuff like that. What about a robbery? Yeah, I think I'll bet the robbery. I'm telling you, if robbery was in the betting lines, people will bet in many fights. People will bet robbery. You know what I'm saying? So. We all understand also that there was a friction there, with Teofimo Lopez and the Excellency and stuff like that. You know, when Teofimo Lopez beat Barbosa, that he was supposed to fight Boost. Boost pulled out Boost didn't sign the contract. There was a contract on the table for Boost. Turki Alalshikh wanted Boost versus Teofimo Lopez. And put it this way. If we all know that we wanted to see Devin the Dream Haney versus Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia lost a decision versus Rolly Romero, don't you think that Turki Alalshikh, that was invested in that fight, they would have done something and you know what I'm saying? So there's some inconsistency. We all know that Turki wanted the rematch with Ryan Garcia and Devin the Dream Haney. Even their promo to the fight in Times Square was all about that. So, but it's kind of, I could see why. I'm going to be positive about it. I'm going to be positive about it, but I'm not going to say that it's out of line to feel that way in the sport of boxing, a sport like this. But I think that's going to be fair and square. I think that Teofimo Lopez is going to be capable of outboxing Shakur. Yeah, I said it. Teofimo Lopez, I think that he's just got to punch his chance, but Teofimo Lopez got the ability to outbox Shakur Stevenson, yes. And he got the ability to hurt Shakur Stevenson and stop Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur Stevenson got a bag of his own to have a upset, in my opinion. I know that Shakur Stevenson is the favorite to win, but in my opinion, no, he's not the favorite. But it is what it is. It's me against the odds and the betting odds, and a lot of people what they think and trainers and stuff like that. And Shakur Stevenson got the tools to upset Teofimo Lopez. You know what I'm saying? I said it once before. I said that Shakur Stevenson could beat everybody except Teofimo Lopez. If he's not going to be fighting Teofimo Lopez, I think that in any way that he campaigns, he's going to win. I think Tank versus Shakur is going to be a competitive as well. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know where Tank is at in his mind, but whatever. I believe the only thing pure in the sport of boxing will be the mano a mano in the ring. Teo versus Shakur. Let me say it like this. If that is the case, that is going to be robbery. There's going to be politics working outside the ring. Let me tell you like this. It's not going to be the first time that Teofimo Lopez is fighting beyond his opponent in the ring. Let's not forget, when Teofimo Lopez was fighting the likes of Vasily Lomachenko, we all know who was the golden goose of Top Rank. It was Vasily Lomachenko. We all know that leading up to the Josh Taylor fight, that all the media, the panelists, picked Josh Taylor to win, to beat Teofimo Lopez. And even though that was a whitewash, in my opinion, I don't think that Josh Taylor won more than 2 rounds. There was a 115-113 card there. Let's not forget also in the telecast with Vasily Lomachenko, that Andre Ward that does that. Let's be honest. These guys don't really like Teofimo Lopez like that. They have voiced the frustration of him and his dad and stuff like that. You know, Timothy Bradley don't like Teofimo Lopez. They had that as a draw. Come on now. So Teofimo Lopez has been fighting, and then look, he's been the guy that been an accomplished fighter, and he's the one that's playing third fiddle in Times Square. Think about it. Ryan Garcia reported got $20 million. Rolly Romero, $5 million. Devin Haney, $10 million to fight Jose Romero, $3 million. You got the only Ring Magazine champion on the card from New York, and he's playing third fiddle. Yeah, he's the most accomplished at the time. Teofimo Lopez, though, always the one that's fighting for his pay. But he's the most accomplished. Teofimo Lopez always been fighting the opponent in the ring and the politics outside of the sport of boxing. So if this is going to be Teofimo Lopez versus the NWO, the new NWO in the sport of boxing, it's not going to be the first. And I believe if anybody has the ability to upset and throw a monkey wrench in any operations, it will be Teofimo Lopez, January 31st, Madison Square Garden, New York City, to take over the 2.0. It's going to be Teofimo Lopez versus the NWO. Maybe. But I think it's going to be a fair fight. I think it's going to be Teofimo Lopez-Shakur Stevenson, one of the great fighters of this generation. I think the winner of this fight will be pound for pound, 1, 2, 3. You can flip it around. And I think that's the winner is going to be the face of this generation of boxing. I think this was going to be the face. I think this was going to be the king. I think no win is going to be bigger than Teo beating Shakur or Shakur beating Teo. And that, in my opinion, yeah, there's going to be more fights. Yeah, we want to see the winner probably fight Tank. We want to see the winner fight Devin Haney. They would have willing to move up to the 147-pound division. Yes, but the winner of this fight, of this generation, well, I want to see, hey, Ryan Garcia beat Mario Barrios. He'll be a champion. Then the Four Kings is back on tour. Let me know what y'all think. I got Teofimo Lopez winning by any means necessary.